Okay, so we are officially live on Facebook then. So I'm going to get this pulled up so I can see if anyone is watching us, because that's always good to know, right?
Yep.
And we will pin the video and yay. Okay, I'm so excited. So I always let everyone introduce themselves so I don't fuck anything up. So this is Megan. She's a total badass. This is the first time I'm actually getting to see Megan face to face on video chat, but we've talked a bajillion times. So I'm super, super excited for this one. So Megan, if you just want to dive in and tell us about you and how you got started and what your business is, all of those good things.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brooke, I'm so excited to be here with you. Brand Boldly and Bold Babe Collective, like it's just meant to be. There's been a synergy around this since the beginning, and I'm just so excited to chat today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so my name is Megan Taylor. I live in Seattle. It's very dark and dreary outside right now. I manage Bold Babe Collective. Bold Babe Collective is a women's empowerment organization. I offer coaching and events that support women in really standing in their authenticity and in their truth, which is very much in line with Brand Boldly. So a lot of the women that I support are women who really struggle with what I call the 3 Ps, which are perfectionism, people pleasing, and procrastination.
Oh, I love it. So necessary.
So true. And so the reason why, like my why for creating Bold Babe Collective was because I found myself in a place on the other end of basically just sitting in my own pile of shit of a life that I created for myself because I was so caught up in people pleasing and trying to be perfect. So I really created Bold Babe after a really terrible breakup where I woke up one day and I had no boyfriend, I had no job, and no sense of confidence or self-worth.
Yeah.
And so it was from here that I really started to uncover, well, what did it mean for me to stop giving my value away to other people and even to things like my career in terms of defining who I am and my self-worth, so that I could just feel free and more comfortable in my own skin and just start taking a stand for like who I am and the life that I wanted to create. Because what I found was that I was really, really great at pleasing other people and being perfect at shit.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to actually tap in and hear what it was that I truly wanted.
Yeah.
And ended up creating a life that didn't work for me. So since then, I have worked with women to be able to uncover really the key and very simple skills for how to build confidence, and confidence that sticks around, that's actually related to self-worth.
I love it.
Talking about how to differentiate self-worth, self-esteem, and confidence today as well, because sometimes we get those 3 mixed up.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm excited. I so agree.
It's going to be good.
Yes. Okay, cool. Well, I'm so freaking excited to get started. I'm going to open this. I just realized I didn't have the comment page up. So, okay, now it's up. We're good. So before we dive in, then I always have to ask everybody the same question. Just what does branding mean for you? Like, what does that definition look like in your world?
In my world, it's so interesting because branding, you know, I have a personal business brand, but we also have brands as humans.
Yeah.
Whether you are a business owner or not, you are constantly walking around as if you are handing out business cards, right? So for me, brand comes back to what are your core values and how do you bring out your inner essence into the world? For me, and the brand that I'm currently creating for myself and in Bold Babe is really around authenticity.
I love it.
Yeah. And so with that, it's really interesting because what I've uncovered is in letting go of pleasing others and letting go of trying to be perfect, I have so many different personalities and personas that come through, right? And so in some ways, some people could call that inconsistent.
Yeah.
Right. But what I've found is that like when women really are brave enough to take off their masks and own all of their different components, then something really magical happens, right? In business, it means that we're attracting soulmate clients.
Yeah.
In personal life, it means we're drawing in friendships and lovers who actually meet us at who we are in our most vulnerable, our most creative, our most expressive states.
Yeah.
And so something I really loved about your brand archetypes, you're doing this in business, right? Where there are multiple ways to self-express, right?
Absolutely.
The sage, the maverick, right? And what I find is that these same personas are available not just in business, but also in real life. And I actually work with women on uncovering their own, what I call fear archetypes that keep them really held back in life, and learning how to step into their power archetypes in order to show up to life in ways that really advocate for who they are at their core.
I love it. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard it worded quite like that, but that's awesome. And I love hearing everyone's answer because everybody's answer to that question is so different and they're all so, so good. So yeah, that's awesome. You nailed it. I love it.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. Well, let's dive in. Yeah. So unwavering bad bitch confidence. Like just the title itself is so freaking good.
I know. You know, it's really interesting because I know it's like a whoop-ham topic, you know? And as someone who personally, I've struggled with depression before. I struggle with a lot of anxiety. And a lot of women who are in the 3 Ps, people pleasing, perfectionism, and procrastination, are women who feel like life isn't safe in some way, and that they need to alter themselves and show up in a particular way in order to receive the love, the acceptance, the recognition that they're looking for. And so sometimes we just stepping into like, wow, I could be a bold babe, or I could be a bad bitch. Sometimes just the invitation to tap into a deeper, stronger part of ourselves that is always there can allow us to step into that level of power immediately.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so true. Like sometimes even that invitation is like terrifying for people too. Like even just thinking about that, like, oh, I want this, but there's no way I could do that. Or that's not me. That's too scary. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. And you know, when it comes to like being a bad bitch isn't like, sometimes I could think of it like, okay, like my red lipstick is like kind of bad. Like, putting on heels is like bad bitch. But there's so many ways that we can show up as bold that are actually much more quiet.
Yeah.
It can be how you show up to a difficult conversation with a parent. It can be how do you show up to ask for a raise at work. It can be how do you present yourself when you first start dating for the first time in 5 years after a divorce. Yeah. And for me, being bold and confident, it isn't about putting on some red lipstick and all of a sudden feeling good about yourself, right?
Right.
It's about connecting to your inner power and your inner self-worth.
Yes.
So if now's a good time, I'd love to chat a little bit about the differences between self-worth, confidence, and self-esteem, because sometimes we toss those around as if they're the same.
Yes.
Let's do it. Okay. Good. So, okay, when we're talking about self-worth, self-worth is something that every single person, you, Brooke, me, Megan, anyone who's watching, are all born with unwavering self-worth that never changes, period. Right? Think about when you were first born, just purely perfect. What happens is, over time, we learn how to human, if you will. Yeah. We can think about the word human being, where we arrive as beings and we learn how to human over time. Yeah. Learning how to human is essentially, how do I stay safe and what do I need to do in order to have my needs met? Okay. And so as we learn how to get our needs met, like it can be something as simple as like, you go to the store with your mom and you ask your mom if you can buy Lucky Charms, and your mom's like, are you crazy? Do you think money grows on trees? Like, you can just have anything that you want, and like, can you just be quiet? You know, and all of a sudden, like, you think, okay, I can't have needs. There's not enough money, and you start getting into these beliefs of what you are allowed and not allowed to be.
Yeah.
Start altering who we are.
Yeah.
This is where things like perfectionism and people pleasing start kicking down the road, right?
Yep.
And in the end, it's just trying to get your needs met.
Right.
So self-worth is that unwavering, underlying worthiness that we have throughout our entire lives. That being said, sometimes we lose track because someone tells us that we aren't good enough. Even in adulthood, we see this again and again through social media, for example, getting on Facebook, seeing everyone presenting their perfect lives and looking around and getting into that comparisonitis and saying, what I am is not good enough.
Yeah.
That's when you're getting into the zone of self-esteem. Okay. Self-esteem is, how do I compare to other people's standards?
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
That's a good definition. I like that definition.
Yeah. How do I compare to other people's standards?
Okay.
Confidence is really relative to what it is that you're doing, and your confidence in your ability to either do it or to be able to survive the consequences of not doing it successfully.
Ooh, I like that definition too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So confidence is something that can actually be built over time.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we can build confidence through practice. Like, I build confidence in public speaking by signing up to talk to Brooke.
By being here right now.
Exactly. Now, from a self-esteem standpoint, if I look at how I am as a speaker compared to Oprah, I might feel like shit about myself. But luckily, I'm connected to my own sense of self-worth, and I know how I measure myself.
Yes.
And therefore, I'm constantly striving to just be a better version of me.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. I love it. I love all of those definitions, because you're so right. Those three words get thrown around all the time, and people use them interchangeably, but they're so different. They're so different. And I love all of those definitions.
Yeah, it's helpful, you know, because sometimes, especially, you know, we all have what I call the roommate inside your head that you don't choose. Right? That inner critic. And the inner critic is actually, strangely, even though they're kind of a dick sometimes, they're here to keep you safe, right?
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, like, let's say my inner critic wakes up and like I have like a big zit on my forehead. My inner critic is like, oh my God, Megan, you are heinous. Like, you cannot even leave the house right now. Okay, that feels awful to experience, but actually my inner critic is actually looking out for me, because it's looking at, okay, well, historically, you know, maybe pulling back on an old memory of a time when I had acne in high school and was made fun of or felt embarrassed. It's trying to prevent me from experiencing that discomfort again.
Yeah.
So a part of what I teach one-on-one, as well as in the Bold Babe Bootcamp, which I'd love to talk about, and in the Bold Babe Collective group on Facebook, is talking about how to make friends with your inner critic. So y'all don't have to always be at odds, but you can work together, especially as you're trying to move outside of your comfort zone to do things that you want to do, like start a business, like go find a partner, like go make friends with other women, like go start a new hobby or write a book or whatever it is that you want to do.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So how do you want to like keep going? Do you want to like take a break now and go ahead and talk about your amazing boot camp and your group, or do you want to like save that for the end and
let's see. I have a couple notes here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk about the boot camp a little bit, and then I'll share some tips that I have around building confidence.
Awesome.
Okay. So basically, to this day, I have only been working with clients one-on-one. I have a program that I move women through, I only work with 6 clients at a time. It is awesome, deep, life-changing work. And essentially what I do, I kind of think of myself as almost like a doula for rebirthing women's authentic selves.
Oh my gosh. I love all of your definitions and analogies.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And, as someone who has worn many masks and had a hard time speaking her truth, I really empathize with women who feel like they need to alter, be fake, improve themselves in order to be acceptable and worthy.
Yeah.
And so through this process, basically what we do is uncover some of the programming that's running behind the scenes that is feeding some of these beliefs that you aren't good enough. And to start basically pulling the standards for how to live your life that you have given to everyone else, whether it's society, whether it's what your partner thinks, whether it's what is socially acceptable, to start pulling in access to to start redefining for yourself based on what really connects to the type of life that you want to have.
Yeah.
Right? Where you are the keeper of your own standards. You know how boundaries work. You know what is and is not in your control, and you know how to relax and release out of the stuff that we can't control.
Yes.
Right?
So important.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, I teach women in observing where their fear archetypes are running their lives, how to stand in their power, and each week taking steps to actually get outside of their comfort zone and start realizing that the world is much more safe than they actually think it is. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
Really cool. Yeah. And what I find is that by the end, women they start relaxing in feeling like they don't need to be so in control of like all of the pieces.
Yeah.
They can relax. They can allow others to support them. They know what it is that they're creating for themselves, whether it's in business, in their love lives, whatever. But by taking bold action, they're taking steps that matter instead of doing like the little shit because they're playing small.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So women just start like changing their lives in terms of leaving jobs that they don't like anymore, finally like getting out of the house and starting dating again, things like that, and just feeling generally more confident, more comfortable in their skin.
So it's like no matter what their end goal is, like all of this stuff is so important. Like with my clients, we focus on branding, right? But if all of this other stuff that you're talking about is going on, like none of this over here matters, right? This is like step 1 to anything that you're doing. It's so important.
Exactly. Yes. And what I found is that it's that connection to self-worth that really underlies everything. Because if you don't think that you're worthy, you actually don't even have permission to have desires.
Yeah.
You don't have permission to have desires, then you don't even know what direction you're walking in. You're just standing around, surviving, and trying to serve other people's needs. Yes. So it's all about breaking that cycle.
Yes.
Awesome. So with Bold Babe Bootcamp, it starts at the end of January. I'm going to be launching it this week. If you want more information on that, I can drop that later, or you can find it in the Bold Babe Collective Facebook group.
Okay.
It's an 8-week boot camp. This is the first time that I am opening up the doors on the skills, the techniques, the magic that I teach to my one-on-one clients, because I just want to reach more women. Like I can't keep it inside anymore. And I need to scale, like not just for myself as a businesswoman, but because I must reach more women.
Yeah.
Like I'm unwilling to let women settle for lives that they don't love.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love how you say it too, like with such conviction. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
So excited for you.
Like life is too short, man, you know?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. So with Bold Babe Bootcamp, we're basically tackling two things at once. We're looking at how to work with the inner critic and really start connecting to your innate sense of self-worth in a way that actually sticks. Something that's really challenging about doing things like affirmations, which is really popular right now, is if you're trying to apply an affirmation to a subconscious that believes that she isn't worthy, it just slides off.
Yeah.
And then you feel like more shit for the fact that you can't tell yourself, I'm worthy, I'm beautiful, but deep inside you're like, you're ugly and you can't do anything and no one's ever gonna love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna figure out how to do some of the inner work that allows you to actually start believing something different about yourself.
Yeah.
While simultaneously tackling the confidence piece. So confidence is about bringing your inner critic along for the ride, or whoever else is naysaying and saying that you can't do something, and to actually put yourself out of your comfort zone so that you can grow, so that you can achieve your dreams, you can have the relationship, whatever it is that you want, and you can witness your own power and strength in your ability to survive and love life on the edge.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That sounds so good.
Yes.
So good.
Yes. So basically the 8-week boot camp is going to be what I call an inside out and an outside in approach, where you're going to learn the mindset stuff around how to transform what you feel in here, but you're also going to actually make changes in your life every single week. So that it's not that you just like learn how to do something, you're actually learning how to show up differently to the life that you currently have. And that builds confidence every single week.
Yes.
Yes.
How exciting.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Also, last thing is I believe that self-love and self-growth should be fun. And so I'm having an emphasis on, like, I'm feeling really powerful and really energized right now. And I want to share that, like, it's not, boot camp is not about kicking your ass. It's about loving your ass.
That should be your tagline. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love that.
And so the plan is like with this boot camp, every single week is it's a moment that is for you, that is your breath of fresh air that refreshes, rejuvenizes, and also puts you back into your creativity and your ability to play again, because learning happens through play, confidence building happens through play, just like children who they don't follow the rules, right? So we're going to be breaking some rules, getting creative, and having fun as we learn and as we change our lives every week.
How that's so exciting.
Yeah.
That's so cool. This program sounds freaking amazing. So
oh, it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
So we definitely need to make sure we get the link in here because we don't have it. So
yeah, and I'm only doing early bird discounted pricing for the first 10 women who sign up. It's probably going to launch tomorrow. And yeah, this is a women's program, to be specific. And
it's always good to know.
Yes. And for anyone who is interested in learning more about the Bold Life Coaching Program, which is one-on-one, anybody who signs up for that between here and the launch of the boot camp will get into the boot camp for free.
Cool. Yeah, that's how my stuff works too. Any one-on-one, you get access to all the other things too. So that's awesome. That's such a good way to do it.
Yes, I'm excited. Cool. So we wanted to chat about some tips for confidence, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I kind of wove a few of them in there, but I just want to reiterate.
Cool.
So the first tip for bad bitch confidence,
I'm going to type them in as we go too, so we have record,
is to agree with your inner critic.
Agree with them. Okay, I'm interested.
I know. It's weird, right? So think about all of the messages that come through from your inner critic. Like, oh my gosh, mine can be so mean sometimes. It's like, you're so stupid, you're so lazy, you're like, no one's gonna want Bold Babe Boot Camp, right? It tells me all of these mean things.
Yeah.
And what happens is when we overattach to letting that be the truth and seeing it as the holder of truth and as something that needs to be fought in order to be overcome, it then owns us.
Okay.
So, for example, one of the thoughts that I sometimes have when it comes to public speaking is I don't make sense. Like, people aren't going to understand me and what Bold Babe is about. This is some inner critic bullshit, right?
It's total crap because you're making perfect sense.
It's total crap, right? And so rather than me trying to prove and go above and beyond to make sense and be super logical and super organized and make sure all of my points are perfectly crafted, which would destroy my authenticity anyway.
Yeah.
What I do is I just say, I don't make sense. To some people, probably. Yeah. To other people, maybe not. I can't really control what anybody thinks. So I'm going to hold space for both not making sense, but still being able to show up to life powerfully.
Yeah.
Because I don't make sense, or I'm ugly, or I'm not good enough, no longer needs to be something that I need to disprove. And I don't need to spend energy on disproving it and collecting evidence against it anymore. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that makes so much sense. I love it.
Yeah. Think about all the times when, like, as a business owner, I don't know if you can relate to this, but as a business owner, like, you might show up and if you're feeling unconfident, all of a sudden you're like busting out all of these blog posts and like commenting on all of the things and being like, do you like me yet? Do you like me? Because you're trying to prove that you're enough.
Yes.
But it's crazy making, and it never actually convinces the inner critic.
Yeah.
So what we do is, instead of fighting I'm not enough, is we just say I'm not enough. And that's just the fact, because nobody is perfect. And I'm never going to be able to convince myself that I'm enough to every single person's standards, including my own. And I'm going to stop collecting evidence to disprove that I'm not enough.
I love it. I feel like you need like a mic drop or something because that's so different from what most people are saying, but that makes perfect sense. Like, I love that perspective.
Like, I'm not enough and I'm going to go on this date anyway. I'm not enough and I'm going to start a business, right? It's all good. And every time that we just agree with the reality that we're experiencing, I'm having the thought that I'm not enough, and I'm going to go take this bold action, we are actually affirming our self-worth by saying, these thoughts do not own me and I can take action anyway.
Yes.
And when you thrive on the other side of that, you build confidence that feeds back into that sense of inner self-worth.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
So good. So good.
Awesome. So number one was agree with your inner critic. Number two, I kind of already covered, but it's what I call the and dialectic. Okay. So and as opposed to but.
Okay.
So dialectic is basically to say that two things can be true at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. So it means I can feel nervous about an interview, or I can have self-doubt that everyone is going to understand my message, and I can still show up anyway.
Yes.
Right? Or, and some people will still understand and resonate with my message.
Yes.
It's not, it's not like I don't make sense to every single person because not everyone speaks my language, and therefore I'm not going to speak, or right? So finding ways to hold two truths at once, where we can take a self-doubt that at one point felt unempowering and no longer allow it to hold us back, because we can feel nervous or unconfident about something and still show up to life in a different way anyway. That's powerful.
Yes.
Okay.
So I love all of these.
Yeah. It's the same thing as like, you can mentally feel like you're poor as fuck. And at the same time, you can approach life as if you are abundant in being able to make money in the future.
Yes.
But without shitting on the fact that you feel like you still have some thoughts about feeling mentally poor.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Perfect sense.
The last thing is what I call throw your hat over the wall. This comes from, I don't know if you've heard of this. It's an analogy. It comes from some old tale. I should probably know the history of it, but it's basically like, if you needed to get up and over a tall wall, if you threw something, like, I don't know, I guess it's a hat. If you threw something of yours that you really wanted, if you threw it over the wall, you would know that you would find some fucking way to get over that wall no matter what.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah. So what this means is things like me signing up to do a interview with you a few weeks ago, knowing that I would come to the table to talk about these topics with you, even though I have nerves around public speaking. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Awesome. And to relate it back to, because I know some people were coming here looking for, to talk about life after divorce and after a relationship, which I have been through as well. When it comes to that, throwing your hat over the wall can look like, it can look like, I mean, if you're into like online dating, it can look like going and signing up for creating your dating profile, right? It can look like, something that I did after my hideous breakup from hell was that I signed up to do like a boudoir photo shoot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. And so that was something where I was like, wow, I'm feeling actually not that great about myself. I'm feeling low in confidence. I'm not loving my body all that much. And I'm feeling self-conscious, but I'm going to throw my hat over the wall. I'm going to sign up for this thing because this is my means of committing to myself to choose a different path, a path to self-love, a path to self-validation. So that would be another example of how to throw your hat over the wall.
I love it. That's such a good example.
Oh,
and I'm sure they were amazing too.
Oh, girl, you know.
I'm sure they were amazing.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. These, like, I love how all three of them are just a complete spin on what you hear most other people talking about, you know, like, but it makes perfect sense logically, especially like, I think number 3 is my favorite. Like, just fucking do it. You'll make yourself get ready, but you have to push yourself a little bit too. Like,
exactly. And the minute that you have the inspiration to do the thing, start acting within 5 seconds. You can, there's more on this with Mel Robbins. She writes the 5-second rule.
Yeah.
And I just love her because what happens is that fear, the parasympathetic nervous system sets off and starts bringing in all of your fear archetypes that start getting in the way. So the minute that you have that inspiration, do something to throw your hat over the wall, start the conversation you've been avoiding, sign up for the thing that's on the path to what you want.
Yeah.
Go start walking in the direction to go ask your boss to have a conversation about a raise. Yeah. Whatever it is, when you get inspired to be bold, start being bold in that minute.
I love it.
Yeah.
Be bold. And of course, you know, brand boldly and Babe Collective. Like,
I know.
Everybody's got to be bold. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Thank you so, so much. Every single thing that you've shared has been like pure gold. I'm so excited. I feel like I want to like take this one down and out of the group and share it with everybody. Might like put it on YouTube or something. Oh. More people need to see it. It's so good.
Thank you. And if for anyone, including you, Brooke, if you want more of this, there is the free Bold Babe Collective Facebook group. It's a closed group. Okay. And I do some free coaching in there. I'll be talking more about information about the Bold Babe Bootcamp.
Wow.
And also I do free consultations for anyone, men and women actually, who want to learn more about the Bold Life Coaching program. Okay. Can message me and I can give them more information about that.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure to grab that link as soon as we hop off here then, and make sure the link to join that group, your group, is in the comments. That sounds like the easiest way. Just join your group and then learn about all the other things.
Right. Yeah, that's the simplest.
Cool. Yay. Okay. Well, thank you so freaking much for coming in. I'm so excited that we finally got together and got to do this. And this has been seriously like life-changing stuff. If you just do those 3 things that you said, and you're halfway there.
It's big stuff. Yeah. And we'll be covering more of that in the boot camp. So come on over and share more information with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Megan, so much. And if anyone has any questions for me or for Megan, just make sure you tag us in your comments when you're watching the replay, so we can actually see them. It's always good. But thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for everybody who's watching. I saw we did have a few people comment. Jennifer and Nadine and Carolina showed up and said hi. But for anyone watching the replay, let us know that you're here. Say hi. Tell Megan how freaking amazing she is.
Oh, thanks,
this has been so good.
You're a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, talk soon.
Bye.
Oh, you had not. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, I was good. I was just saying, and thank you so much. That's all I was going to say. We're good.
All right, girl. Talk to you soon.
Have a great night.